we're going to start from there, but yes, it will be in Abuja before we move on to the next guest. But for now, Mark Way.
Thank you, Chamberlain. Excuse me. We have with us here Mr. Eddie Olafeso, who is a former zonal chairman of the PDP in the Southwest. Good morning and welcome to Sunrise Daily this morning.
Thank you, Mark. It's nice having you here. To be here.
Well, quite a lot went down at the NEC meeting of your party yesterday.
Yes.
Before now, people had thought that the NEC meeting was not going to hold. But eventually, how were you able to persuade members that it was indeed necessary for the NEC meeting to hold?
What I saw yesterday is a resurgence of hope, of commitment, of ensuring that we prepare the party for the 2023 election. The conviviality, the friendship is very, very infectious. And decisions taken provides the opportunity for us to continue to deal with those things that might be challenges for us in the future. I'm so glad that, the party is stronger now. And for those pessimists that thought yesterday would be the end of the party, it's a wake-up call that we all have to work together to be able to, bring our party out of opposition to taking, over government where we can effect a change in a situation that can provide hope for the millions of Nigerian people that are in despondency today.
Well, you talk about an atmosphere of conviviality. What we saw also, and was maybe unexpected, was the resignation of the chairman of the board of trustees of your party.
Yeah.
And there was speculation that that was done in order to try and make peace, appease the other side, which has been aggrieved for quite a while. Was that a thinking?
Really, the party has mechanism to continue to reevaluate things, to position things, to reposition things. And exactly what happened yesterday is to ensure that we have that opportunity of looking at certain areas that we can actually begin to reposition. The new energy that Senator Adolfo Wabara will bring into the game going to 2023, and the hope that this renewed vigor in our party will continue to do a lot of things. Let me tell you, it's an ongoing process. Peace is an ongoing process. It can only be attained by constant reevaluation of our position.
I understand that. What I'm asking is whether that was done in an attempt to try and appease the Wike, would I say Wike faction? I'm very reluctant to use that word because I do not think that your party is factionalized. However, he's certainly aggrieved himself alongside a number of other governors are aggrieved within the party. So was this an attempt to try to appease them? Yeah,
we have to appease ourselves from time to time, look and evaluate at the challenges they are throwing, and I think the energy that everybody is bringing in is what can redefine the party. And Governor Wike is not aggrieved in a way that he wants the party destroyed. And believe me, I will not come here to criticize either A or B. As an elder of the party, our desire is to bring everybody together. If every step we take, every inch of the way goes into ensuring that we bring everybody together, so be it. And I am very, very confident that sooner or later, like I said, these are not crises, they are issues. We need to reevaluate. A party must, on the basis of argument, discussion, communication, and questions, begin to redefine itself. You build an institution that will be very lasting on the basis of criticism. And so what he is saying is not about individual.
What is he saying?
What Wike is saying is
what
that
he's arguing for.
The argument is such that there must be equity, there must be fairness. And if there is equity and fairness, and then everybody must all be inclusive. And the inclusivity is what we're finding the channel to bring everybody together. And as far as I'm concerned, that is even critical to the Nigerian people, because we need to, as quickly as possible, at least come together to continue to provide alternative, options to these for the situation we have today.
You know, when my colleague ended that report,
yes.
when he ended the report, he said whether this will, make peace, only time will tell. We didn't have to wait for too long yesterday.
Yeah.
There was a swift reaction on the part of the River State governor, and I'm sure that our producers will have that on standby for us to listen to. He wasn't having any of it, and he made that very clear, that the position of the chairman of the party and the position of the BOT chairman are two different things. And the Board of Trustees chairman is an advisory capacity. So I think we should just listen to him too.
If the presidential candidate comes from the north, that he will resign by the convention of our party, that the candidate of our party, the chairman of our party, will come from the south. When the North Central met in the house of Governor Balab Mohammed, governor of Bauchi State, he said so there. When he made a caucus of the Senate, he told them that when we finish our convention on a Saturday to Sunday, the candidate of the party came to see me in my house in Abuja on Monday, around 10:30 a.m. And that is what I don't like in this country. The candidate told me, I said, listen, I want us to work together. And then he said, look, you must go. I said, why? He said, because when a candidate comes from the north, the chairman will come from the south. And I'm saying, implement what you told me. What offense have I committed? What offense have I committed? This is what he told me. I challenge the presidential candidate to deny this. They have today told the BOT chairman to resign. Who is talking about chairman of BOT? What is the role of the BOT? BOT is an advisory body. We have never zoned BOT. But what we are saying, the position we are talking about, which all of us agree, is the chairman of the party. As it is today, it's the presidential candidate or president and chairman of the party. The chairman of the party and the candidate or president, as the case may be, are those who will sit there and take decision. The candidate is from the north. The chairman is from the north. Who will represent the south in decision making? I will continue to fight this fight. This injustice is enough. We cannot continue to swallow this.
Well, you heard him.
Yes.
In no uncertain terms, he's
Loud
expressed
and clear. Loud and clear. The truth is, everything must be done through a process in recognition of the constitution of the party, the constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and the electoral law. There are certain decisions you cannot jump at taking, and it has to go in line with the dictates of the constitution. Even when there are meetings by individuals, it still has to be ratified by the majority of the party. At NEC, that's the highest decision-making process. NEC must have reevaluated what is going on with a view of ensuring that gradually we get to the destination Governor Wike is clamoring for. He has his own rights as a governor, a performing governor of the party, and the party must be careful in order to weigh, weigh certain decisions to be taken so that eventually we don't infringe on our own guiding principle. For me, what is critical, what is important at this moment is to ensure that we reassure Nigerians that the drift in governance and the misery that people are going through on a daily basis are resolved by the election of February 2023.
Well, you haven't finished reassuring those within your party.
Yeah, but let me tell you.
That's the big question. For a number of Nigerians who are observing your party,
he has never
they're wondering, how do you want to reassure us?
It has never been possible in history.
If you haven't kept word to members of your party about certain promises that you have made.
It has never been possible in history for a party to have 100%, cooperation, either you say cooperation on agreement on any matter. People will have a different opinion. We're talking about convergence, and it's coming together gradually. It is not something you can just snap and it happens. It's human social interaction and relations and political, connectivity. I am telling you that we get there. I want us to focus on the challenges this country is facing today and how all of us can resolve it. That is far very important. Okay. And that's the reason why I opened up by telling you that if you were there yesterday and you equally told us that people were thinking it would not happen, it will not hold, we are moving every step of the way. By the end of the day, we will get to a convergence between Governor Wike's position and the position of the other members of the party, and the NEC will take a majority decision that will be satisfactory to all parties.
Let's flip this conversation now to Lagos.
Thank you, Markwe. Let me begin by asking a question based on what you just said now. Is that to say that the decision that's already been taken by the NEC is not satisfactory to everybody?
Of course, as it is, and with Governor Wike's comment, governing, managing a party is a process, and he has already laid his own demands on the table. The leadership will still, BOT, the National Working Committee, will still take a look at what is going on while we focus on the critical, responsibility of ensuring that we rescue this country from where it is today, that is not satisfactory to everybody. So like I said, there is no time we're going to take a decision that everybody will be 100% in agreement. So we carry each other along by engagement, by constantly talking to one another, by ensuring we leave the door open. And I must, admonish all of us. This is beyond individuals. It's beyond the party. It's a Nigerian problem. It's a Nigerian situation. We must focus on those critical things than, the issue of always at loggerheads with one another. We must resolve our problem within the confines provided by constitution of the party in a way that it doesn't become a public, issue, and then suddenly it escalates into what might lead to a division within the rank and file of the party.
Okay.
I think everybody that is contesting this matter today must recognize the fact that Nigerian people, the ordinary man on the street, those disinherited and those that have
we'll get to those other issues, I'm pretty certain that everyone,
yes,
agrees along the line of the, conversation about the concern for Nigerians and all. But you also mentioned earlier in
yes,
response to Markwe's question, having listened to Governor Wike's position, that look, this position of the national chairman was made known to 3 different classes of people: governors, senators, and himself personally in a private conversation. I mean, that's of course by the candidate of your party. The question then, when you say everything needs to go through a process, were those processes in consideration when
yes,
in your opinion, when that commitment was being made by the national chairman and by the presidential candidate of your party?
Thank you very much for that question. And the truth is that no matter the decision you take at the National Working Committee level, at the Governors Forum, at every structure of the party, must come to the NEC for ratification. And the critical part that unless NEC takes a decision, you cannot on your own decide, until they have, taken a decision that this is where the party is going. That is why we said it's a higher decision-making process. So let us look at the agreements, reached by either the candidate or,
it wasn't an agreement per se, Mr. Olafisi. Just a sec.
Has it been
my apologies.
crystallized?
My apologies. You talked about a process for everything. I'm just wondering what that process are, based on those conversations, perhaps informal conversations. Just a second. It would seem like the NEC already took a position.
Okay.
Yeah, the NEC already took a position and said, okay, we have confidence in this, in the national chairman. But from what you're saying, it would seem like, okay, we have confidence in him, only that there are some issues to take. Having taken this position of a vote of confidence, what next, given that, you know, there is still so much on discomfort in some quarters?
The NEC will continue to gauge and measure the thermometer of reactions and will continue to, on its own, regulate itself. And when a decision is taken today, you look out at how it impacts and affects, you know, the party. And at every point in time, there can be a meeting of NEC, either to reevaluate, to rescind, or take a further decision on it. As of yesterday, the NEC decided that, you know, at this time, at this moment of the struggle to rescue and redefine Nigeria, that what is critical is for all of us to collectively move on. Why certain mechanism within the party, which is not supposed to be a public, you know, discussion, will continue to go on. Yesterday, you had our presidential candidate, you had the chairman of the Governors Forum telling the world that even in families there are disagreements, but we must, in a civilized manner, move on to resolve these matters, to be stronger, to be better, to be able to focus on what is critical and important in revamping and developing this country. I feel that we all should be mollified by what is going on in this country and the level at which we have run down the entire system. And that is far more important than, you know, going into, you know, minute details of how we arrive at our conclusions. The NEC, in its wisdom, already took a decision that IU will see through this moment, and they have given him a vote of confidence, and that is it. What I'm appealing to all of us, politicians, the masses of the people, you know, media people, is to allow political parties take their decisions and walk through it so that they can continue to look at what works and what does not work. And on our own part, we continue to engage all our people. They have been integral part of development within the party, and nobody is going to be left behind. So I will really, coming here, want to begin to focus on what do we do from here on to change this country. And that is far more important than any other discussion. And I cannot come here, like I said earlier on, to continue to say this is right and that is wrong. We have mechanism to tell each other what is right and what is wrong. And that's exactly what we have been doing. Behind closed doors, unknown to the media, we have been talking to one another. You know, emissaries, you know, individuals have been talking to one another. I'm close to all parties in this party, and I know fully well that our constant, you know, concern is to bring everybody together. And that is exactly what we're going to achieve.
Indeed, you have said that you know, party will be consulting, gauging the thermometer, if I could use your words now. But I want you to answer pointedly, even though NEC has taken its decision and said that we repose confidence in IU. What, in your view, would be the best solution to resolving this crisis between the Rivers State governor and, on the one hand, and the national chairman of the party on the other hand?
I'm an individual in this party, a member of NEC. The decision taken by NEC will constantly be what rules the party. But as a person in this party that wants peace, I want all of us to sheath our sword and think first of those Nigerians that do not have the kind of privileges we are, you know, enjoying today, that are disinherited. I'm repeating that, disinherited. Their children dropping out of school. They cannot feed appropriately. They cannot move from one spot to the other. Which one comes first, the survival of the nation or an intractable war of, you know, of positions and, power sharing. To me, it's far more important for us to engage ourselves and please cool down the temperature of
just pardon me,
amongst ourselves.
All right,
so
we need to bring in, pardon me, we need to bring in Senator Olakanwogu, who is a member of your party. He's a member of the reconciliation team. He's attended the meetings, including the ones in London and here. He joins us from Port Harcourt. Good morning, Senator. Thank you for joining us on the program today. Well, you're aware of the several decisions that has been taken by different organs of the party. Having been in several meetings trying to sort and address all those issues and concerns raised, what are your thoughts about those decisions that have been taken so far?
Well, good morning. We've come a long way, and this process has just been dragging on. It's quite surprising to me because, in a way, you hear this phrase, beating around the bush. We seem to be beating around the bush. Very little thing that we can just deal with, but we've been going in circles over it. At the beginning, it was clear that the party has a way of balancing offices. We've been sensitive to what regions we have, the north, the south, and in fact, these zones, essentially, our offices are distributed along those lines. And this was a clear position. The presidency or the candidate comes from one side, the party chairman will come from the other, and it was difficult for them to agree where the party chairman would come from at the beginning, just because we didn't know where the candidate would come from. But our constitution actually had insisted that power should rotate. So there was a preponderance of opinion that the candidate would come from the south. And so the party chairman was sent to the north. It turned out that at the time of the primaries, the party chairman, the candidate came from the north. And from that point, there was the expectation that the party chairman will shift, chairmanship of the party will shift to the south. And that was started by the current chairman himself, Yosha Ayu, who said, I will move from office and allow you to go to the south. The true to what the governor of Rivers State said, the candidate of the party had said himself that it was right, that it should, the office should move to the south. This was all designed to create a sense of equity and fairness. Today, people are changing position. And from what the NEC has just done, it's the lack of the capacity to do what's right. The party today, PDP, has broken two camps, those with Governor Wike, those with the candidate of the party, and a good number of patriotic party men who are just in the center. They swing from side to side, depending on how the arguments are going. This is not going to help the party. We are going to see this sustain and go on till almost the elections, and it's not the right thing to do. A party that wants to take power and wants to show that it's ready must find the courage to do what is right. A simple thing.
Yeah, all right. So, Senator, now that these actions have been taken, you still maintain that the party can and should do what is right. Now, in this circumstance, how or what exactly would you consider what is right?
First of all, I find it sad and regrettable that they had to hound the chairman of the BOT out of office. This is an old man whose office was not clearly consequential and was not in issue. But he's been hounded out just to create a picture as though an office has finally come to the south.
So he didn't offer to resign by himself?
No, he was hounded out. It took days. The man has been resisting and fighting, insisting that his office was not the issue. He was practically hounded out of office. He had no choice. The pressure that was put on him from every quarter just to make sure that Ayu is sustained, it was incredible. And it's sad. We are trying to do things to create a picture that is unfortunate. The BOT chairman, that's a respected old man, but that was not the office that the South was demanding. That was not the office that was in play. The office that is in play is the office of the chairman of the party. And Ayu himself knows that he cannot sustain that office. His NWC met a few days ago And all of them, most of them told him he had to go. They debated it in his own for several hours in the NWC. In fact, it was even suggested at the time that the deputy should preside because he was the one who was being accused by the members of his own NWC. Several organs of the party have told Ayu that he cannot keep it. For the sake of the party, people have been pleading with him, do the needful. A few days ago, the candidates, gubernatorial candidates of the party, visited Governor Wike. Interestingly, literally everyone agreed that the right thing to be done has to be done. There is no individual who is saying today, sustain Ayu in the office. Everybody says, we want to win an election. Give the South what's due to the South, live with the North what's due to the North, and let us have a united party. Recall that at a time of the primaries of the APC, 10 governors of the North agreed that for national unity, the presidential candidate should come from the South. And all of them marched in force to move on to make Asiwaju get the ticket. They didn't play the North or the South. Today, we find in PDP, people trying to keep everything in the North.
Senator, wait, when you say that no one is saying sustain Ayu in office, isn't that what the NEC just did?
What has happened is a group of leaders of our party feeling that they will hurt Ayu personally, not looking at what's best for the party, decided to trade the BOT chairman, trade the position of the governor's forum by the resignation of Tambuwal, hoping that something can assuage the South. What the South asks for and what's due to the South is not what is being given to the South.
All right.
But there is an attempt just to sustain Ayu in office. People are trying to see whether they can do it. Ayu has, in the course of presiding as national chairman, of course, giving favors to people who produce candidates here and there in the last primaries. And there's a willingness to, people cannot look him in the eye and say what's true. But at the back, a lot of them say what he's doing is not right. And we know that the holistic picture is that it's not about individuals. It's about what's right to build our national unity.
All right, Senator, we will take it from there when we return in a couple of minutes. Stay with us. Welcome back. We're with Senator Olakanwogu, who is a member of the Reconciliation Committee of the PDP. Well, Senator, look, if I understand some things about some decisions usually taken by politicians, these ones that I've just played out, they would have been thought out for a very long time. So it does appear as though these decisions that they've taken, they are moving on. So, because if a certain group were demanding for the chairman to go, and then the NEC meets and comes up with this decision, doesn't it clearly say that this is what the party wants to do? This is how they want to go. They don't want to do, take the other decision, which is letting the chairman step down. So how or what else can be done? Because when you say the right things should be done, because it will come across to a lot of people, or at least those who are happy with this decision, that this is the best possible way to proceed. Other than that, they will interpret it as tantamount to wanting to pull the structures and then hurt the party's chances for the elections.
Well, Chamberlain, what we have been talking about is how to unify the party so we can do an election and succeed at that election. The two leaders today are President or Vice President Atiku Abubakar and Governor Wike. They met in London and this matter was discussed. Recall that last time I was on this forum, I was advocating that it was about time they had a face-to-face meeting and dealt with these issues. They met. And by some providence and the goodwill of them, I was at that meeting and I even kept notes at that meeting. This matter came up and they both agreed that Ayu will go. The only issue that was outstanding
was the modalities. There was an understanding that there were legal implications, procedural implications, and it was agreed that both parties should perfect the procedure. What's strange to me is since that meeting, without any further communication, the next thing is our principal, the candidate of our party, is sitting over a NEC meeting and a decision is taken to pass a vote of confidence on IU. These are the things that bring mistrust between people. If at the last meeting you agreed on something and you had said you move on from there to do a few things to put the party together, how helpful is this outcome that we have just witnessed, this passing of vote of confidence? As for vote of confidence, there are normal things. Almost every chairman that has been removed from our party, his removal was preceded by a vote of confidence. So vote of confidence in itself doesn't speak much. But for me, it's the trust building process. The fact that we are trying to bring, look, out of 13 governors, only 3 were there. There are many critical party leaders who did not participate in this meeting. And they are not there. You heard that earlier on, Chief Bode George stormed out of the Board of Trustees meeting. And it was many people who are stakeholders in our party did not attend this. That is why I told you that the party is broken into those pro-Wike, those pro-Atiku, and just other leaders of the party who are trying to make sense of what's going on. But for me, it is the building of trust between these 2 leaders that can bring the totality of our party together and move things further. This was a unilateral action by a group, and they have their reasons for doing it. I mean, if you're the candidate of the party and you think this process will lead you to victory, you're free to do what you want to do. After all, it's victory we seek. But I don't see it like the best way.
Yeah, Senator Wago,
yes.
Like you, other members of the party, like Mr. Nonoju, who was here yesterday, also believe that the best thing to do is for the national chairman of the party to step down. But don't you think that would have consequence? Because if you look at the list of the National Working Committee of members of the PDP, you find that your deputy national chairman is from the South, your national secretary is from the South, your deputy national treasurer is from the South, your national finance secretary is from the South. In fact, the list of National Working Committee members has a healthy spread of members from all parts of the country. So wouldn't this come with consequence, courting trouble from other parts of the country who now feel that if you got a national chairman from the South and all of these other offices from the South, that it's unevenly distributed then?
No, there are ways of dealing with this. The more extreme solution is to say swap all the offices, all Southern offices go to the North, all Northern offices come to the South. That's the extreme solution. And that was what was done to bring IU into power. The offices under secondaries were completely swapped. But in this case, I recall that Governor Wike gave a solution to this problem that was of limited impact. It was simply that the national chairman will move to the South. If the Northerners insist that, okay, we want probably the secretary to move to the North, because usually if you have chairman here, secretary go. If they request for it, I'm sure nobody will really say no, because that will be within their rights to do, so do. But the more critical thing is that the chairman of the party and the presidential candidate are never from the same geopolitical zone, never from the same either North or South. They break into the opposite side. And that's all has been on the issue. So it's not even about IU. You cannot remove the candidate. But the office of chairman is easy to do. It's a thing that the NEC itself could have just said, okay, for this reason, IU, We ask you, because we want to win an election, it's become imperative that this office moves to the south.
Okay.
And then the person in the south.
I'm interested in how this will solve the problem, but first let's go to Olorugun Olafeso. I'm particularly interested in how he would respond to some of the issues that you have raised, especially when you say that the decision taken by members of the National Executive Committee of the party is not to hurt the feelings of the national chairman. Olorugun, I'd like you to respond to that.
Thank you very much. Senator Owogo is a friend and a brother that one respects. And I believe that at that level that we have served this party, our concern should be for unity. No matter the decision, whatever decision you take outside NEC that has not been ratified by NEC is a personal decision which you need to sell. And today, the NEC already took a decision that IU, they have passed the vote of confidence on IU, and they have even put together the organizational structure of the campaign, for the presidential campaign for 2023. And all of us at this time must actually work hand in hand to ensure that we succeed. Let me ask Senator Owogo, where will he get the approval for what he's clamoring for, but for NEC? So if, in essence, the issues were taken behind, is he saying that unilaterally, that decision must be impressed on NEC and it must have to be carried out? Managing a party is a very fragile thing. And that is the reason why we have to be careful about our suggestions and what we think could be done. And it's going to create a lot of constitutional crisis, not only for the party, but for the perception it's going to create across the country. I want to appeal to him. If he's a member of the Reconciliation Committee, and I see that his position is so absolutely immovable, then we have a challenge. And he is a generational leader, younger, and has the opportunity to inherit what is going on and continue to perfect it. Without a stronger institution, without our constitution being respected, we will run into absolutism, and that creates further problem for the future. I want to appeal to every one of us. I don't like it when we come on television and what we're discussing.
But those issues have been in the news for a while. Just a second, Dr. Olafeso. And it's something that everyone, both within the NWC, the NEC, and others, are also aware of. I have a question for you, but I'd like you to allow Senator Walker to quickly respond to the issues that you have raised, perhaps a question that you even asked him directly. Senator Walker.
Well, it's interesting when people want you to do the unjust thing, ignore justice, ignore fair play, just so that we can get along. It's so easy. Let's leave it, let's do this. You want to win an election. Does the sentiment of the South matter to you? You have votes in the North, you also have votes in the South. You are going to campaign in the South. Then you step on the podium and say the national chairman is from the North, the national candidate is from the North, presidential candidate. And then you just continue to tell people, let's see, we can do whatever we want to do internally, it's internal party affairs. But the votes will be done by the Nigerian people, who will see how we are set up, who will judge us whether we're a truly national party or we just are a continuation of a one-sided leadership affair. So all this talk of let's try and see, well, why don't you call out injustice and tell people to do the right thing? I am telling you as a person who was there that the presidential candidate and Governor Wike sat and it was agreed that you will go. And what was in issue was the process. Now, if the same presidential candidate is presiding over a meeting where a vote of confidence is being passed on Ali, I am confused. I'm asking what's going on.
On that same, when you talk about process, just a second, Senator Walker, when you talk about process, I'd like you to make it a little clearer. Because just recently, Senator Dino Melaye also said that, look, when we talk about process, the process is, according to the constitution of your party, that when the national chairman leaves, the deputy national chairman will take his place. And the deputy national chairman, according to him, is also from the North. So what then should happen?
Yes, and that was why it was proposed that the chairman will resign the deputy national chairman will step aside, the deputy national chairman South will take over, then the deputy chairman North, if he wants to, will be reinstated. It's just a process of getting the chairmanship to the South, with only IU stepping away. Others will keep their offices. If that will take us out of this current logjam and give this party that sense of national unity without taking us to a convention.
Okay. Senator, thank you. Dr. Olafeso, is that process enough for you?
Yeah. It's a what?
Is that
you can imagine the
windy
windy situation is going to bring the party, the top seat of it, the chaos that the suggestion might actually bring. I am pleading with the senator that we must see the other side of the coin. Nobody says there should be inequity. Nobody says there won't be fairness. But we're saying that the process, like you rightly mentioned, my brother, must be strictly looked into so that there will be a constitutional crisis. For me, this is not the moment we should be talking about all this. It's the moment we should re-engage with the Nigerian people and come up with a new deal.
Would you say the people within you?
I'm not saying they are dishonest. They have the right to their own agitation.
I'm asking that because we have heard quite a number of sides to this particular story right now, and we have, I mean, it's been recorded on tape. The national chairman of the party himself admitted that he will step aside if the candidate of your party emerges from the north. Why do people find it very difficult to keep to their words?
Look, Maokwe, I've told you, people reach agreements, when they hold their various meetings. But the body that's entitled by Constitution to review and come up with a decision is NEC. So whatever they have decided out there...
No, hold on. So you're saying that if the national chairman of the party...
I'm aware of the details.
Or if you were to say...
I told you...
Just a moment. Okay, I want to clarify that if you were to say today, assuming you held a position that, look, for whatever reason, I'd like to resign, the NEC will stop you from doing that?
No, but if the man says he's not resigning and NEC sees the reason why he said he's not resigning and they take a decision about that, well, the man said, no, you're wrong, I must go. No, I was there and we knew how we arrived at this juncture. We have to be sincere with each other if we're going to, rally and build this party to winning the presidential election in 2023. The candidate himself, explained virtually everything to NEC yesterday how we arrived here. Okay. And admonished all of us, in this disagreement, there will be a process to it. We will get there. I told you when we started that we will get there. But the process must be met. We cannot cut and nail.
There'll be questions as to whether that word of we will get there will even mean anything to those people. But let me ask Senator Wogo, what exactly is the game plan here? Because some people will say, if you continue to hold on to this extreme, it has grave implications, that it could begin to isolate the governor of Rivers State and a few others who will now seem like extremists within the party. Do they intend to bring down the house on themselves?
Well, first, when I hear people, and with respect to my friend there too, when I hear people come and defend the indefensible, a man gives his word for something and there's a lack of honor, and people come to defend it. Even if the entire NEC or the convention of the party says a lie is the truth, it doesn't make that lie the truth. That the NEC of the party came out to say we stand by IU, when IU himself had given conditions precedent that if this happens, I will do this. And it shows a lack of honor, and we cannot call it out. Then something is wrong with us. And it begins to haunt or replay why PDP is in trouble. We must look at Nigerians and say our word is our bond. How can we be led by people who have no honor, who cannot keep their word? Right before the Nigerian people, we are going into an election. We are saying trust us, and yet you cannot honor your own word. And our neck will sit and give, confirm a lie as policy of our party. My brother, you should not even defend it. I think you should really consider sitting on a public TV and telling Nigerian people that you stand by this, or that is the position of our neck. Where is justice? Where is our honor?
Senator Wongo, that's not my question to you. That wasn't my question to you.
I will go to your question now.
Asked you, you said,
I will go to your question.
So you'll get your turn in a moment. The question I asked you is, what exactly is the game plan? This is September. By the end of this month, the campaign season will be in full swing. And your party is still trying to deal with an internal crisis. Yesterday, we saw a move towards appeasement. It might not be what exactly the governor is asking for, but it looks like there is some move to try and appease him. There are questions as to if there is some move here, if there is an appeal on this side, that for whatever reason, be it legal, be it technical, be it emotional, that this will not be the time to sort this out. Do you intend to pull down the house of the PDP? Because some people will say that whatever happens, this will also have implications for the PDP in River State.
Well, let me just put it in two ways. First, Governor Wike has made it clear that he's not leaving the PDP. So we should note that position. Two, when the Guba candidates of the party visited the governor recently, they listened to him and literally concluded they were young, committed Nigerians, good party people, and they said they were taking his message to the others. It was nice to see these Guba candidates, very intelligent young men, listen to the governor and say, we think people have not understood your position well. We are going to carry it out. I believe that the process is still ongoing, that the more people understand that the governor is not fighting for himself, but is just standing by the truth and urging for what's right to be done, the more this position that they are holding today will get weakened and the right thing will be done so our party can come together and do what's needful. So Wike can stand for the truth for as long as it takes. He's not the kind of person who will suddenly, for convenience, say what's right, it's wrong, or what's wrong is right, just because others see it so. He will continue to push and hope that ultimately others will see the truth and
Senator,
do what's right.
If things continue this way before the end of the month, and if things don't change, would you support the party still to win the governorship and presidential elections?
We have candidates who are also PDP in our state.
I mean presidential.
So presidential.
Yes.
There are things that, like at the minimum, there are 5 governors with Wike. They are leading what position they have. I'm sure they will consult amongst themselves. They will consult other leaders. They will consult widely, and they will take the decision.
What about you?
Take. Me?
Yes.
Oh, I'm a good party member, and I have principals whom I listen to the discussions they have. I participate in some of these discussions. I don't take unilateral decisions. I don't make decisions.
So you vote wherever they ask you to, whoever they ask you to vote for?
It's not like that. You're trying to ask me if we vote for people other than PDP candidate.
No, I'm asking you, if things continue this way, will you, as Senator Olakawogu, support Atiku Abubakar's presidential bid?
I will tell you that our desire is to vote for our party.
No, not ours. Yours. Your desire. What is your desire? What will you do?
I belong to a team, and but what I will do is I'll do what my team decides to do.
Senator Wogu, Governor Wike lost out at the primaries. How does the National Party chairman stepping down heal his wound? Perhaps you'd like to tell us, let me quickly add what the other demands are, and if this is the only demand of the River State governor.
The genesis was that our constitution says we'll take power. And Wike and the other governors of the South met at Asaba and agreed that the next president must come from the South. In fact, they were encouraged among themselves. Those who want to run should run, but they should make sure that they support the South. That was for the constitution and as people from the South. It turned out that Some governors from the South did not do that. They supported the candidate of the former vice president, who is from the North, and he won. Now, Wike says, if that is the case, no problem. Let's give something to the South on which we can also campaign that the South is not left out. The national chairman himself came out and said, if this happens in the North, I will go. So it was like the only consolation for the South. You want to take the gold, the silver, and the bronze. Meanwhile, there's a consolation. The man who came second should probably take silver or take bronze if he came third. Now, the North is taking the gold, the silver, and the bronze. And we are saying, give something to the South. He's a leader. He is going to go around the country because he has supporters in the North and the South, and he's not anti-North in any way. He's a full Nigerian committed to the Nigerian cause. Now he says this has gone to the North, give something to the South so that we put some unity into our ticket. And what we're finding is that people, I don't want to use strong words, but it appears that somebody just for acts of dishonor says, no, we will not do this anymore. I haven't agreed to do it. And at this point, Wike, if you know he does not stand for dishonesty, he cannot stand for dishonor. He's taking it almost like a crusade simply because the dishonor stares all of us in the face. How do you expect him to go out and canvass on the basis of something that is dishonorable? He said, give to the South what belongs to the South, give to the North what's in the South. No, the North already, Wike has gone beyond the presidency, but president or vice president. He does not speak on it because he's accepted the outcome. He has gone to congratulate Atiku Abubakar in Atiku's home. He's gone beyond that. He has nothing against Atiku personally. But he's asking Atiku, asking the neck and everyone else. Yes. Yes, please.
Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us this morning. We sincerely hope that the crisis or, you know, I'm very reluctant to use that word crisis, but the issues within your party reach an amicable resolution. Senator Olakawogo is a member of the People's Democratic Party and also a member of the PDP Reconciliation Committee, and he joined us via Zoom from Port Harcourt. Thank you so much for coming on this morning.
Thank you.
Well, Prince Eddie Olafeso, do you want to quickly give us 30 seconds you have?
Let it be on record that I did not come here to defend anybody, but to defend my party. I'm nobody's lucky, and I'm independent enough, and I've suffered, you know, a lot of defeat in this party to understand the fact that the party is supreme. And whatever anybody is advocating, he must bring it to NEC for ratification. And you must work as hard enough to convince every other person that your position is right. You see, I have said it 1,000 times on this program that the easiest recipe for absolutism is for is for a group of people not to go through the process that the party already laid it out in its constitution in terms of effecting certain changes that they feel is very important. The critical thing today is for how to redeem, to rescue this country, to rally our people, create a formidable team that can begin to have a new deal with the Nigerian people. I am for that, and I cannot speak for anybody. Whatever decision they have taken, they took amongst themselves. I'm a member of NET, a former National Working Committee. My desire is for this party to grow so that we can leave a legacy of a new beginning of hope to the Nigerian people. It's a frustrating time for everybody.
Mr. Eddie Olafeso.
Thank you.
We wish you a smooth resolution of the issues within your party.
Thank you.
And he is the former zonal chairman, Southwest of the People's Democratic Party. Thank you for speaking with us this morning. I'm
grateful.
We'll take a break at this moment and we'll be back shortly to look at the life and times of Queen Elizabeth II.